Thank you for joining today's workout. Today we're going to focus on our breathing while we improve our full body mobility. We're going to be in a lot of the same positions, progressively getting more challenging each time. But remember, you have the option to stick with a position that's working best for you today. You also have the option of holding on to something to help with your balance. One thing to keep in mind is going to be our breathing pattern. We're going to take a deep breath in, let our ribcage elevate, hold it for about 2 seconds, then we're going to exhale. And as we exhale, we're going to squeeze our abs tight as if we were trying to keep our spine in place or bracing for a punch. We're going to practice this first by doing our balance test. To start with our balance test, we're going to stand with our feet together, hands on our hips, head up, and eyes closed. Take that deep breath in, let your ribcage elevate, then exhale, and remember to squeeze your abs tight as if you're trying to keep your spine in place. Next, let's stagger our stance. So right foot in front, left foot in back. Same thing, hands on your hips, head up, and eyes closed. And let's keep that same consistent breathing pattern. And now let's switch. Let's bring that right foot back and heel off the ground. Let's bring that heel down and let's stagger our stance on the opposite side. Left foot in front, right foot in back. And let's remember to keep our breathing consistent. Deep breath in, exhale, squeeze your abs tight. Now let's bring that left foot back and that left heel off the ground. Next, we're going to pick up the pace a little bit. We're going to stand with our hands on our hips and starting on our right side, bring that right foot off the ground and back down. Inhale as you bring that knee up, exhale as you put your foot down. All right, now switch. Remember to keep that tension in your abs, so keep squeezing your abs tight as you bring your foot up and down. Switch back to the right side. We're going to bring our knee up again, but now we're going to kick our foot out before bringing it back down to the ground. Same breathing pattern. Take that deep breath in as you bring your knee up. Exhale as you put your foot down. Now, same thing on the left side. Next, we're going to transition into a hip hinge. So both feet are down. We're hinging from our hips, reaching down towards our ankles. So we want to keep our abs tight to keep our spine in place. Inhale as we go down, exhale as we push off the ground to come up. Remember to keep the tension in your abs the whole time. Hey, Sammy. She's going to be hanging out today. Next, we're going to transition into our skateboards. So that knee is going to come up. We're going to kick that foot out, but now we're going to swing our foot behind us as if we were sprinting, riding a skateboard, or riding a scooter. Inhale as your knee comes up, exhale as you kick your foot down. Remember to hold on to something if you need help with your balance. Now switch, same thing on the other side. And remember to keep the tension in your abs. Now we're going to transition into arm swings. So big circles. And now reverse. Next, let's bring our feet wide, hands together in front of us. We're going to rotate. Inhale as you come back to the middle, exhale as you rotate out. And as always, squeeze your abs tight to keep your spine in place. Next, with our feet together, we're going to go for a toe touch. So go down nice and slow. Use your exhale to reach down lower and get more comfortable in the position. And now slowly come back up, and we're going to go right back into that balance test. So first, both feet together, hands on your hips, head up, and eyes closed. Remember to maintain that same breathing pattern throughout. Now we're going to reach back down for that toe touch. And once we get our hands down to the ground, we're going to walk ourselves out into a straight arm plank. In the straight arm plank, we want our hands right underneath our shoulders. We want our hips up, and we want to squeeze our abs tight to keep our spine in place. Next, we're going to shift into a downward dog. So our arms are going to be straight, and we're pushing our hips back and up in the air. Now on your next exhale, we're going to bring our right foot to the outside of our right hand and drop your left knee down. With your right foot, push down into the ground with your big toe, pinky toe, and heel. You're going to feel a stretch in your left hip. Bring that right foot back, go back into that straight arm plank, and back up into the downward dog. Now same thing on the left side. Now let's come back to that straight arm plank. Again, abs tight. Let's walk your hands back to your feet, hold that toe touch, then slowly come back up and go back into that balance test. So right here for our balance test, pick any position that you want, feet together, stagger stance, or one heel up. Good, let's come out of it, go back down for a toe touch, and walk your hands out for that straight arm plank. Again, squeeze your abs tight to keep your spine in place. Go back into that downward dog. And same thing, right foot outside of your right hand, drop your left knee down. This time we're sitting up tall. Keep driving that right foot into the ground as you're stretching out your left hip. good. Now let's switch sides. Go back to that straight arm plank first, abs tight, then bring your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Hands back down onto the ground, nice and controlled. Start off in a straight arm plank, then walk your hands back to your feet and go back to another balance test. So again, choose your position, either feet together, stagger stance, or one heel up. All right, we're on the move again. So let's walk ourselves out to that straight arm plank. Again, abs tight, go into that downward dog, then bring your right foot outside of your right hand. Now we're progressing from the last position with our arms straight and reaching back. We want to use that exhale to help us relax that left hip and also use that exhale to help us reach further back. Now let's bring our arms back down and make our way back to that straight arm plank. Now into a downward dog and switch sides. Hands back down, then go back to that straight arm plank, then walk your hands back to your feet, and let's set up for another balance test. Remember to maintain that same breathing pattern, so deep breath in, ribcage comes up, exhale, squeeze your abs tight, and keep the tension in your abs for the whole time. Let's go back down for that toe touch. Remember, nice and slow, nice and controlled. Walk your hands out to that straight arm plank. Squeeze your abs tight. Hold and go into a downward dog. Now setting back up on our right side, we're getting in that same position. This time we're staying low. We're going to start with our right elbow reaching down, then we're rotating up. So as we bring our elbow down, we're inhaling. As we rotate up, we're exhaling. Alright, get ready to switch sides. Get back into that straight arm plank. Up into the downward dog, nice and controlled. Then bring your left foot on the outside of your left hand. Same thing, our right hand stays down this time. We're reaching down with our elbow, then rotating up. Now, as controlled as you can, bring that foot back, go into the straight arm plank, and walk your hands back to your feet. Set up for another balance test. Right here, challenge yourself to do one of the more difficult positions. So either a stagger stance or one heel up. All right, and again, trying to get more comfortable each time. Let's make our way back down to that toe touch. Walk your arms out into a straight arm plank, squeeze your abs tight, and go into a downward dog. Again, starting again on our right side, bring that right foot to the outside of your right hand. This time we're going to turn our left foot in towards the right and go for a groin stretch. Take a deep breath in and use your exhale to try to sit back towards your left heel. We're also pushing our right foot down into the ground, trying to create an anchor. Let's transition back into our straight arm plank, downward dog, and switch sides. Now, same thing on this left side, left foot outside of your left hand, rotate and turn your right foot towards the left. Slowly reverse, come out of it, make our way back to that straight arm plank, abs tight, walk your hands back to your feet, and go for another balance test. All right, let's make our way back down to the ground. Again, toe touch, nice and smooth. Walk your hands out to that straight arm plank. Abs tight, go into the downward dog. Then we're going to bring our right foot back to our right hand. In this half kneeling position, we're going to aim to create a little bit of movement. Using our breath, as we inhale, we're going to lean forward, trying to bring our knees over our toes. Then as we exhale, we're pushing off the ground to come back up. Here, we're just trying to create some movement within your hip and your ankle. Next, we're going to change the angle. So let's bring your foot out a little bit to the right, about 45 degrees, and follow the same movement. Remember, inhale as you're going down, exhale as you come back up. Now, one more position on this side. Let's bring that foot all the way out to the side. So heel and knee parallel, and same thing. Inhale as you go down, exhale as you push off the ground to come back up. All right, let's make our way back down. Again, transition back to that straight arm plank. Abs tight, go into that downward dog, and let's switch sides. So same thing on this side. Take that deep breath in as you're leaning forward and exhale as you push off the ground to come back up. All right, now let's change our angle. And again, we're trying to create some movement in that back hip and that forward ankle. All right, now last position, your foot all the way out to your side. Same thing, inhale as you go down, exhale as you come back up. And again, a smooth transition down to the ground, hands down, straight arm plank. Squeeze your abs tight, start to walk your hands back to your feet. Using a big exhale, let's reach down for our toes and walk yourself out into a straight arm plank. And squeeze your abs tight, go into the downward dog. All right, next bring your knees down to the ground, about 90 degrees at your hips, at your knees. And with our right arm, we're going to reach under our left and hold. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Get comfortable with your position. And now we're going to rotate. So inhale as you go down, exhale as you rotate up. Keep pushing your left hand into the ground. It'll help you stay anchored. All right, good. Now let's switch. Same thing on the other side. So first a hold, bring your shoulder down to the ground, get comfortable, take a deep breath, exhale. And now let's go into a rotation. So remember, inhale as you're going down, exhale as you're coming back up. All right, next, let's bring our hands down, go back into that straight arm plank. Abs tight, push back into a downward dog. And we're going to come back to that position. This time we're going to work with our shoulders. So I want you to exhale as you reach away from your body, and inhale as you bring your elbows in. Again, squeeze your abs tight to keep your spine in place. Just try to move through your shoulder blades. And same thing on the other side. All right, let's bring our hands back down to the ground, push back into the downward dog. Big exhale. Again, try to create more movement each time you do this position. Let's bring our knees down, and we're going to go into a bird dog. So opposite arm, opposite leg, reaching, then bringing it back in. Challenge yourself to do this without your knee or hand touching down to the ground, but if you need to place your hand and your knee down to reset, you can. All right, same thing on the other side. Remember, exhale as you're reaching away, inhale as you're coming in. All right, good. Let's go back into that downward dog. Next, we're going to go into a pigeon position. So let's bring that right knee in, turn our foot towards the left, then relax down. We're focusing on our right hip on this one. Again, take a deep breath in, exhale, and just try to relax. All right, good. Quick switch, straight arm plank. Same thing on the other side. Left knee in, turn it towards the right, then relax down. All right, let's come back up to that straight arm plank. Again, back into that downward dog, and back into that right side pigeon. This time we're going to try to create a little bit of movement. So we're going to hinge from our hips. You can use your arms to support you as you're just hinging forward and going back up. So we're inhaling as we're going down, exhale as you go up. Again, use your arms to help support if doing it without your hands down is too difficult. We want to push our right knee down into the ground to create that movement. All right, now switch sides. Go into the plank, into the downward dog, then into the left side pigeon. Again, use your arms for support if you need it. Good. Let's go back to that straight arm plank. Again, squeeze your abs tight. Keep your arms straight. Go into that downward dog. Again, try to get deeper into this position each time. We're going to go back into that right side pigeon. This time with our pigeon, we're going to do it with a reach. So I want you to think about relaxing from the shoulder blades, from the hips. Let's come back up to our straight arm plank. Again, abs tight, go into that downward dog. Then same thing on the other side, left side pigeon, and now we're reaching towards the left. Try to use your exhale to reach further away with your arms. Nice and controlled, make your way back up to that straight arm plank, then walk your hands back to your feet, and let's go into that balance test. We're going to start off with our feet together, hands on our hips, head up, and eyes closed. Remember, same breathing pattern, deep breath in, exhale, squeeze your abs tight. Next, stagger your stance, right foot in front, left foot in back. Same thing, take that deep breath in, exhale, squeeze your abs tight. Next, bring your feet back together and bring your right heel off the ground. Next, let's switch. Stagger stance on the opposite side. Left foot in front, right foot in back. All right, good. Now let's bring our feet back together and raise your left heel off the ground. You could go ahead and open your eyes. Good job, you made it. I hope that you feel a lot better getting your body moving, and I hope that you come to our next class.